All right, everyone, today we're going to be covering why courses and mentorships are a scam. And this is coming from somebody who spent well over $20,000 on courses and mentorships, as well as somebody who's actually spent years selling and closing for a lot of these big influencers with millions of followers, selling courses and mentorships to your average guy just like you and just like me, wanting more out of life. Now, just to keep things simple, I do say courses are a scam a little bit, nuanced a little bit as clickbait because obviously some courses work, some courses don't. It's really that simple. However, there is something that I do want to explain, which is very, very important for you to understand to get value out of this video. So watch the entire thing in its entirety and you will take a lot of value out of this when you leave the video. Now, I'm going to start off with the story first so you really understand. Because here's the thing, when I first bought my first course, here's kind of the backstory behind all of it. What happened was that I was working a regular 9 to 5 and I actually decided to spend $5,000 of my own hard-earned money into a mentorship slash course. Now, at the time, this was a shit ton of money for me. I literally had to save up like a couple paychecks just for me to be able to pay for this course. And I've been researching this course for such a long time before I even wanted to invest into it. However, I did actually do so. But here's the thing. I was in a position where I basically was very comfortable at my job. I barely had to do anything. I literally just had to show up, just sit in the chair for like 4, 5, 6 hours, and I would go home. I didn't really have to do any tasks. I would just literally had to sit there, watch over people, and pretend like I was doing something for 6 hours just to leave home with a salary of like $2,000 or $3,000 a month, which was completely fine for me. I wasn't that old. I was like making all right money. I didn't really care, right? But that was the exact problem because I had realized at that point in time that I was literally just doing this over and over and over again. Because at the time I was pretty young, but as I was getting older, I realized that, yo, like, if I'm not gonna go to school or if I'm not gonna make anything else out of myself, I was looking at the other people in the office and there was like people that were like 30, 40 years old fucking doing the same exact thing as me, even making less than me. And I was like, there's no way this is going to be me if I just continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to make any money. So I luckily had that realization. But I was there for year after year after year doing the same exact thing. And had I not done something about it, I would have literally been there still to this day. Now, here's the difference. Luckily, I decided to invest into this course. And it was pretty random, actually, because I was just watching on YouTube kind of things that I could do. And I just stumbled upon this one guy, kept watching his videos, and I was like, fuck it, you know what? He was super upfront about how much the mentorship was. It was 5K, and I kind of already knew before I even invested. So I was like, okay, you know what? At least I can like save up this money and pay for this because now I know how much it's gonna cost. So I asked him. I was talking with his setter on the DMs, and I was like, yo, can you just like make me save up this money? Just give me like save me a spot, whatever. And they were like, yeah, super cool, right? So I was like, all right, this is already awesome. Let me just like save up this money and buy this mentorship. So I did. I paid 5,000. I joined the mentorship. And here's the groundbreaking thing and why it's a scam. Because honestly, there's nothing in that course or with the information that I got that was anything like groundbreaking or really anything that I didn't already know or couldn't find online. So the information wasn't really anything crazy, and I didn't really, information-wise, get too much value out of it. However, what I did get is as soon as I fucking saw my bank transaction on my phone app, and I was like, holy shit, 5,000 down, that freaked me the fuck out. All right, it freaked me the fuck out, and I knew I had to do something. So I literally put myself in a position where I had my back against the wall, so I had to make this money back. And believe it or not, in like 2.5 months later, I literally made like fucking 5 times what I paid. So I made like 25K in 2.5 years, purely off of the connections, the information, and the network inside of the mentorship. So, was it a scam? No, it was not because or technically it was. They said I would make 10K, but I made 25. So they scammed me. No, I'm just kidding. But all jokes aside, was it a scam? No, obviously it wasn't because I made my money back and some. And to this day, I still use what I learned. However, like I said, there wasn't really any crazy information. But what there was that I put myself in a position where I had to make shit happen. Otherwise, I would just stay stuck. Had I not spent that $5,000, fuck the information. I could have still found it by myself, but I would have never put myself in that position where I was like, fuck, I need to actually make something happen. I need to do something, otherwise I'm cooked. So I had to do that. And that is the thing that nobody talks about when it comes to these mentorships. Because if you expect to just spend $5,000 and then never, or you expect to make 5,000, excuse me, holy shit. If you expect to just put $5,000 into a mentorship and then all of a sudden you're just gonna have money falling into your lap, that's not the case, all right? You have to spend the 5,000 and then you have to show up, put the hard work in and work harder than everybody else in the mentorship if you expect to make any money back. Now, I was lucky because I was in a position where I'm like basically putting all my money into this. So I had no way of fucking failing. Like I had to make this shit happen. I had to make this work. But there's a bunch of guys who just spend 5,000, don't really put the work in, and then they blame it on being a scam. When in all reality, it's not really not. Obviously, there's a lot of mentorships and courses that are just bad, not teaching you, not helping you anything. So for sure, they might not be worth it. But if you have something that is actually worth it, you show up and you have everything you need, as well as you putting all the work that you can into it, chances are you're most likely actually going to make money back from spending or from what you invested. And that's just the reality of the situation. But I see way too many people just spend money expecting that money is just going to come to them and you barely put in any work. If that's the case, then of course there's going to be a scam. You're never going to see that money ever again. And you're going to regret spending it. You're going to think all this is just LARPing basically. And for some it is, but for me, and I've also like sold a lot of these courses to a lot of people, and I see those guys all the time. I see the ones getting crazy results, and I see the people that just never. Like there's this dude who literally took out a fucking loan of like $12,000 to fucking start posting content, and then I fucking watch him, and he follows me to this day and still likes my posts, but the dude has still not even posted a fucking video. So I'm like, what are we even doing? Why the fuck are you doing this if you're not even gonna try? If you're not even gonna try, then you're better off just not spending it. That's the reality of the situation. I know it's crazy to say, but it's really the truth behind what nobody wants to talk about. So what you should get out of this video is that sometimes you need to be able to put yourself in such a difficult situation that you have to win, otherwise you're cooked. That is basically sometimes what you need. That's what I needed out of myself in that case. So sometimes, and maybe that is you as well, maybe you need to literally just put your back against the wall, spend all the fucking money that you have to fucking go all in on yourself, because otherwise you're never gonna do it. You're basically in golden handcuffs, right? You're cuffed to some golden handcuffs because you're just comfortable enough to not do anything about your current situation. But if that's the case, then how bad do you really want it, right? I was that for years and years and years. Luckily, I got a realization, but I know a lot of people who never get that realization and they just stay stuck in that loop over and over and over and over and over again. Do not let that be you, please. And if you see yourself in that situation, do something right now to fucking get out of it. Put yourself in debt or fucking go, like this is no financial advice or anything, but do something where you're in a fucking tricky position so you have to make shit happen. Otherwise, you might just be comfortable enough to not do anything and you're just gonna stay stuck there for such a long time. I hope that helps. Mentorships are a scam if you do it the wrong way. If you do it the right way, they're not. So take what you can out of that. Hope that helps. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.